Before we kick off, this is just a quick note to say that this is another episode from the archives. We recorded this one back in the spring, along with the previous episode, so it comes with the same caveats of things probably being a bit out of date. In the meantime, we have now been to Edfest. We're off to Wacken Festival next week. Once we're back from that, we'll start recording some new episodes, probably a rundown of Edfest first, and then finally on to the final frontier, appropriately enough. We'll see you then. Hello, and welcome to Maiden Voyages, a podcast where we could talk about Iron Maiden, but have instead decided to talk about anything else within the periphery of Iron Maiden. This week, we're going to dig into one of the many side projects, Adrian Smith's Smith Kotzen outfit. It's not just Adrian Smith's, obviously, from the name.
But it's also Richie Kotzen, Smith Kotzen.
Yeah. But before we do that, let's introduce ourselves.
So I'm Blev, an historian of sorts, and I am an Adrian Smith and Richie Kotzen, but mostly Adrian Smith. Devotee.
Okay.
I've probably used devotee before.
You've definitely used devotee.
I mean, but is anyone going to go back and check, Sam?
I will, out of spite.
Yeah. I like to hope that people who listen to us have better things to do with their time, but...
Yeah. Even I have better things to do.
I mean, you're a dad. You have a job now.
Maybe not better things, but I don't have the time anymore. I'm Sam. I'm a writer of sorts, and I am an Adrian Smith / Richie Kotzen fan. That's all I got.
God damn, maybe I've never used fan.
Yeah.
Man.
I feel like fan isn't explicit enough for you.
No, maybe not. I mean, I am a Richie Kotzen
enthusiast.
Yeah, I'm an Adrian Smith. I am
stalker.
I wouldn't. Would I go up and if I saw Adrian Smith in the street, would I go up and say hello to him?
Depends on the context, right?
It does depend on the context.
If he's with his family, you probably wouldn't bother him.
No.
If he was alone, cornered, you'd say hi.
If he's holding up a big sign for Adrian Smith and a big arrow pointing down, I would probably go over and say hello. Sure. So, shall we, before we get into the history of it, right, because I was thinking about this, the Adrian Smith backstory we've done, okay? So, when we did the Killers episode, we spoke about Adrian Smith and him joining. If you want to know more about Adrian Smith, just listen to every other episode of this podcast, because there's a lot of Adrian Smith chat. But I was wondering, Sam, if you could fill us in on the backstory a bit about Richie Kotzen as our resident 80s shred hair metal specialist. Who is Richie Kotzen, Sam?
That's a bigger question than I'm prepared to deal with. But I can give a little bit of background.
Yeah.
So Richie Kotzen is a guitarist and vocalist who's been in various bands. And I guess this is basically cribbing a Wikipedia article, and feel free to fact check me. But my understanding is his career kind of starts off as a Shrapnel guitarist on the Shrapnel label.
Yeah, and I presume a lot of people know what that label is, but that was like the shred label.
Yeah, it was the label that had
guitarists,
Marty Friedman, Jason Becker, their first albums, and then Cacophony when they joined forces.
Yeah. Vinnie Vincent, all that guy.
Yeah, just all the sort of guitar noodly nonsense of the late 80s. But Kotzen kind of joins that label quite late on.
Yeah, because he's a bit younger, isn't he? So
he is probably 5 to 10 years younger than a lot of that scene.
Yeah, and fun fact, he's 13 years younger than Adrian Smith. So, and you sort of get the feeling that had he have emerged the same time as Ian Vai and Steve Vai, he would be much more of a household name than he is.
I think so, yeah. It's interesting, his career trajectory, because a lot of it kind of feels like someone who appeared a little bit too late and never quite fit the scenes that he was in, because he's signed to Shrapnel labels and to Shrapnel as a label. He puts out a couple of solo albums that are probably less the kind of shreddy, nonsensy stuff you might expect from Shrapnel, and that's not a judgment on the shred nonsense. I love that, but much more jazz fusion informed than a lot of those guitarists. And then eventually sort of after releasing a couple of solo albums and trying to get his break, he ends up getting it by joining Poison, of all bands. When CeCe DeVille leaves Poison or is fired, I think probably more likely fired at that point, he joins Poison for their album Native Tongue, which is a weird point in time for Poison, and I'm just going to look up the year.
I mean, the problem is it's 1990 something, right? Had he have joined Poison in 1987, he would have been made. But he joined about 5 years later.
So he joins Poison in 92, and they put out an album in 93. But the interesting thing about...
Which is the same year as Nevermind, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Which is like, that's not a good year to be releasing a new Poison album.
It's not. But at the same time, Native Tongue is quite a successful album. Okay. So conversely to like all the other hair metal bands around at the time, like in the previous episode, we talked about like Danger Danger and Warrant. Like a lot of these.
We did talk a lot about Danger Danger, didn't we?
I just love Danger Danger.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Poison are actually still getting quite a lot of mainstream support despite the sort of growing crest of grunge. And so Native Tongue comes out with Richie Kotzen on it. He's written about half the material on the album. He's also doing quite a lot of, maybe not co-lead vocals, but you can hear his voice quite clearly across the album, which is really interesting.
And he has got a great voice.
Got an absolutely fantastic singing voice.
I mean, he's a bloody talent. He's a almost annoyingly talented man.
Fantastic guitarist, great singer, very handsome.
Yeah. And one of the few people who you think he could... I mean, if he was just a guitar player, obviously he'd still be regarded as an incredible guitar player.
Sure.
But if he was just a singer...
Yeah,
people would still be talking about what an amazing voice he has.
He's got a very Chris Cornell sounding voice.
There are very few people who do both that well. And you're like, oh man, that's not fair. Like, just pick a thing. Those of us who can't do any of those things to any particular standard. Like,
exactly.
Come on.
So Kotzen joins Poison, and he kind of sees it as a sort of a gig rather than his calling. He's kind of waiting for the label to give him a chance to do a solo album on the major label and doing Poison in the meantime. But I was reading an interview with him and he kind of says, well, I was 22 at the time, 21, 22, and the video for Stand, a song that I co-wrote with Bret Michaels, is on constant rotation on MTV, playing once every hour.
Yeah.
And that was a really strange and exciting feeling. And so you get the impression that Poison is, for whatever reason, having, I guess, like both being hugely successful in America beforehand, but also pivoting a little bit stylistically. They're one of the only hair bands getting support from mainstream media at that point in the 90s. So Native Tongue, the album he's on, goes on to be quite successful. They tour. It ends quite badly when Kotzen, it turns out that Kotzen's in a relationship with Ricky Rocket, the drummer's fiance.
Yeah.
What I can never quite figure out, and it's not clear, is this an ex-fiance or his current fiance? Because I've read things that imply either way. And I'd get it would be hurtful either way, right? And like you wouldn't want to be in a band with that guy.
But it's an important distinction.
It is a key distinction, I think. But anyway, as a result, being in the band becomes untenable. He leaves the band. He goes on to marry this fiance.
Oh, wow, okay.
And eventually divorce.
Okay.
But, it wasn't just a fling. That's always nice to know, isn't it? I should also say at this point that in the years since, like, all the members of Poison and Richie Kotzen seem to have kissed and made up and all seem really cool with each other, which is also nice. Nice to know that musicians can be adults.
There must be a Poison song called Kiss and Make Up or something.
Oh, there's got to be, right? I don't think there is, but there should be.
That is such a Poison song title.
Well, it sort of sounds like ChatGPT writing a Poison song. So, yeah, after he leaves Poison, I don't remember what he does for a while, but at some point where it comes back into my knowledge space is he joins Mr. Big, the Paul Gilbert, Eric Martin, Billy Sheehan, Pat Torpey sort of hair metal blues rock outfit. when Paul Gilbert leaves. So he replaces Paul Gilbert.
And Mr. Big had a hit, didn't they, in America?
To Be With You.
Yeah, To Be With You.
That was even big here in the UK.
Was it really now?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, there's no like More Than Words by Extreme.
It was a proper moment.
It's a song that had recognition here. They also had quite a bit of success with a cover of Cat Stevens's Wild World.
Wow, okay. I've not even heard that. That sounds...
In the early 90s. It's a pretty good cover. I mean, it just sounds like a Mr. Big song, to be honest. I'd say Cat Stevens should be Yusuf nowadays.
Indeed.
Isn't it?
Yeah. The artist formerly known as...
Yeah, the artist formerly known as Cat Stevens. But so he joins Mr. Big to replace Paul Gilbert, which is quite weird because Paul Gilbert is one of the main songwriters in Mr. Big. And also, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the main reason anyone would listen to Mr. Big is Paul Gilbert. But that's my own biases showing.
Just a load of bass nerds now, just being like,
what about Billy?
We're here for Billy Sheehan. That's the only reason we're here.
Which is fair enough. Billy Sheehan is a very talented man, and I really like Eric Martin's voice. I just really, really like Paul Gilbert. And Paul Gilbert goes on to make a bunch of hilarious solo albums.
Yeah.
Just pop rock, but with some incredible shredding.
Shred guitar.
It's great. It's exactly what I want. But yeah, so he joins them in the late 90s, which is a very weird time to join Mr. Big. Like, we're talking about Poison being odd in the early 90s. Well, imagine joining a band less successful than Poison, but in the same space at the turn of the millennium.
Yeah, when Limp Bizkit are blowing up, and yeah, I can't imagine.
It's odd.
Yeah, who was...
It's odd, but it's also not odd, and I'll tell you for why.
Go on.
So,
I was hoping you would. I really hope he tells me why.
So he does 2 albums with them. The first of them, Get Over It, is in 1999, and that feels more like what you'd expect from a Mr. Big album. But then the second album he does, 2001's Actual Size, sort of sees Mr. Big pivot a little bit. Maybe I'm over-egging it, but pivot a little bit towards trying to do a Bon Jovi Crush kind of vibe, where it's sort of like radio rock that is informed by a hair metal-y part, but is also just kind of like that Americana turn of the millennium rock kind of vibe.
Well, it worked for Bon Jovi.
It didn't work so much.
Oh, what a shame. Oh, no.
From my understanding is the song Shine, one of the singles off it, was moderately successful, but it wasn't long until Mr. Big called it quits. They did a farewell tour. I think throughout this time, despite, me saying Mr. Big was sort of past their twilight, they were still huge in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
I think Japan, Korea in particular, they just always maintained a huge following. But they sort of wrap up in, I think, 2002, 2003, before reforming a few years later with Paul Gilbert in the Richie Kotzen position. In that time, then, Richie Kotzen eventually, I think he does some more solo stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess nearly a decade yet later is when he comes back into my periphery when he forms the Winery Dogs.
Yeah.
With Billy Sheehan from Mr. Big.
And Mike Portnoy from
Dream Theater. So interesting.
Like, that's a cool group of people.
It is a cool group of people. And actually, apparently, it has its roots back to before Richie joined Mr. Big, where the way he got into Mr. Big was he was originally planning to start a power trio with Billy Sheehan and Mr. Big's drummer, Pat Torpey. And then Paul Gilbert left Mr. Big. And so they just put Richie in the band.
Okay.
So it's kind of weird that like 15 years later, he then ends up making this power trio, but with a different drummer, Mike Portnoy. It's, I don't know. The thing with Winery Dogs is it sounds a lot like Richie's solo stuff.
Yeah.
Which is great if you like sort of modern hard rock with some great musicianship. Mm-hmm. Some of it can sound a little bit generic, but I think he is a very talented songwriter and performer. We saw the Winery Dogs live at Sonosphere Festival years and years ago. And I think when we discussed it before, my main memory of that is sitting on the hill in Nebworth eating what was frankly a very good burrito for a festival.
Particularly back then. I mean, festival food was pretty diabolical 15 years ago. And that was it was unfair to put Winery Dogs up against the burrito, wasn't it? I mean,
the way I see it, it was holistically just a great moment. Like watching these 3 very talented musicians and eating a delicious burrito.
And to be fair, and this is
having a sit down at a festival's great too.
This sounds like a slightly like a criticism, but Winery Dogs were almost the perfect 3 o'clock in the afternoon festival band.
Yeah.
Like flagging a little bit. I just need a little beer and a little chill now. And yeah, they fill the niche, right? And actually, when you think of, I think the success a lot of bands have had since them doing a similar thing. The Winery Dogs were much better than a lot of those bands now who seem to have a much higher profile.
Yeah.
Not naming any names, but
I mean, I think, and I'll probably say similar about Smith Kotzen, but I'd say Winery Dogs in many ways is sort of planet rock fodder kind of music, but done to such a great level.
Yeah, but actually better than a lot of planet rock fodder
really
stuff,
talented musicians, some sharp songwriting. It's not really ever going to be my go-to, but I always enjoy it when I hear it.
Yeah.
I think it's good quality stuff. And I think, like, obviously throughout all of this, Richie's been doing solo albums. The main one that kind of came up on my periphery was he did an album of covers of music from the Mobile Suit Gundam anime series, which is a very weird niche thing to have done.
It's quite niche.
But similarly, Andrew WK also did an album of Gundam covers, and I own both because I am a nerd.
Here is your audience.
But yeah, so he's still putting out solo albums throughout all this time, and I think it's quite interesting just looking at his career trajectory in that he joins these big bands sort of as they're on the downhill after peaking. And he never really, and he joins them as quite a young person. Like he's 5 to 10 years younger than the other band members. Like by the time he joins Poison, he's in his early 20s. They've all got to be pushing about 30.
Yeah.
And it'll be similar for Mr. Big. And you kind of get the sense of like, he's just in the right place at the wrong time.
Yes.
And his career, I mean, obviously he's made a lot of success for himself, but his career never kind of blows up in the way that someone of his talent should blow up. And maybe this is like quite a miserable way at looking at it. And I don't mean it like that. Like clearly he's successful and like content.
Yeah, but you have a point.
You kind of feel like he's someone who should have always been bigger than
he does feel like, given the quality of his voice and guitar playing, you feel like that is a kind of generational talent.
He is someone who is basically the vocals of Chris Cornell combined with the guitar playing of Paul Gilbert.
Yeah.
You'd expect big things.
Yeah.
And that's not a slight on him at all. It's just, he was sort of out of place.
Yeah. Well, let's shift the focus a little bit back to Adrian Smith, as we're wont to do.
Oh, yeah, right. This is the Maiden.
Yeah, right. So before we get to the meeting of the two, so Smith Kotzen obviously is not Smith's first foray into solo side project territory.
No, it is not.
So we've got ASAP Silver and Gold,
which
1989.
Just a slight tangent.
Yeah.
I have found a CD version of.
Whoa, CD.
Yeah, which
I've got a copy on vinyl, but
currently on its way to me from Japan.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really good album.
Yeah, I've heard a few songs from it, and I've kind of always held off listening to the whole thing until I could own it. And I finally found it quite cheaply on like Japanese eBay, basically.
I mean, one of those few albums that I think is probably rarer on CD than on vinyl.
Yeah,
it's you see it a lot on record, but and then so obviously that comes out almost immediately after he leaves Maiden.
Yeah,
doesn't really go anywhere because he doesn't actually release anything for about 6 years, right? And then he pops back up again. We get 2 Psycho Motel albums.
When does he leave Maiden? 88?
Well, actually,
89?
there's a bit of crossover because I think Silver and Gold is recorded whilst he's still in Maiden.
Yeah.
But by the time it comes out, he's left or his foot's out the door.
It is quite interesting if you think of when Adrian's leaving Maiden, having had, for all intents and purposes, a pretty full career at that point. Richie Kotzen is just starting.
Yeah, true. And we get the 2 Psycho Motel albums, 95, 97, which are fine, I'd say.
Right.
Didn't help that both those albums have a different vocalist. So there was a kind of, there was a bit of fluency, lack of consistency. Then obviously he's back in. Well, actually, from '97 onwards, he plays on Accident of Birth and Chemical Wedding, Bruce's solo albums. Although he doesn't really contribute a huge amount in the songwriting front to either of those.
We've also missed a very important side project.
So the Michael Kiske.
The Michael Kiske Instant Clarity album.
The Michael Kiske Instant
Clarity he just appears on for no reason whatsoever. Him and Kai Hansen and Michael Kiske. A great meeting of minds, producing very, very 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I know. It's weird that, isn't it? Because on paper, that should be brilliant. And it's just quite good.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And then he's back in Maiden from 99. In 2012, we get one album by Primal Rock Rebellion as well, called Awaken.
Awful name.
Terrible name.
Awful name.
But such an underrated album.
Yeah.
It's a really good record. Him and I believe his name's Mikey, can't remember his surname now, the lead singer from Sixth.
Yeah.
Who were, again, a weird combination of people, because Sixth were almost like a mathy tech metal, quite underground British sensation of the early 2000s. And Adrian Smith just doing this record, which is one of the weirdest and best things Adrian's done outside of Maiden. But that's not what we're talking about today, although we should talk about it at some point. So Smith and Kotzen meet in LA.
Do you know how they meet?
Well, the story I've got is that basically Adrian Smith has a house in LA, right? Which he's had for a while. And according to Kotzen, he met Smith because Richie Kotzen knew or met Adrian Smith's wife, Natalie.
Yeah, so Kotzen and a friend of his are looking to like just have a night out in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And they go to the bar at a hotel called the Sunset Marquis, which is a very famous rock hotel, has a recording studio underneath it. And like lots of rock stars go and stay there when recording stuff. I used to stay there quite regularly when I got flown to LA for work years ago when I worked for Redacted. But yeah, whenever you went there, you were told you're not allowed to talk to rock stars, which is fair enough. They're not there to be bothered.
Well, yeah, but it's your guest. You know, it's like, talk to her.
I once saw Billy Joe Armstrong there, but I don't like Green Day. No. So
I mean, fair play. It would be rude if you just went up to him and said, "Oh, right, Billy, don't like Green Day."
Don't like Green Day. One of my colleagues saw Steven Tyler there whilst we were there, which I was pretty jealous about. But anyway, so they went to the bar at the Sunset Marquis, and Richie Kotzen ended up meeting Adrian's wife, who I think was a fan of Kotzen already, and they ended up talking. And then later on, she says, "Oh, you should meet Adrian Smith," and Richie's kind of like pretty starstruck.
Well,
he's
the
quite
version
a
I heard
big
from
Maiden
Richie,
fan.
because this is what was interesting, right? Because it doesn't really show through in his own music.
No.
But Richie said, I think Richie said, I'd love to meet Adrian, because he was saying how Iron Maiden were his favourite band as a teenager and loved Peace of Mind. And you're thinking, like I just imagine Richie Kotzen sat at home listening to a lot of Maharishi Orchestra. Not
Just
necessarily just,
But you can like Mahavishnu Orchestra and Iron Maiden.
Of course, and I presume Richie Kotzen does. And good for him.
And so do I, Richie.
Yeah, indeed. So do all sound-minded people. We like Maiden, but we also just want some slightly
proggy jazz fusion.
Yeah. And so it seems like Richie Kotzen ends up spending a bit of time at Adrian's house where Adrian throws parties, there's jamming involved. Apparently there's a lot of Bad Company and sort of Stevie Ray Vaughan tunes sort of flying about. And at some point, well, the version I got from this interview with Richie was Natalie, again, Adrian's wife, was like, you should do something, like, record something like this, but, sort of casually jamming. They seem to have this shared love of blues, 70s hard rock, free Bad Company.
It is the most, like, LA rock star story I've heard of, like, a band forming is, I went to the Sunset Marquis where all the other rock stars hang out because the Rainbow was full or whatever.
Yeah.
And, we were jamming at a dinner party because Adrian Smith has a pre-set up jam room for these occasions.
It's also a very like middle class rock stars at a certain point in life story. Yeah. It's not like I was strung out on a pavement.
No, it's just
and I looked up and
it was all very civilized.
Yeah. Yeah, and it seems all quite organic. And they seem to like think, well, let's see if we can write some stuff together. And
right they do.
Lo and behold, they did write some stuff together. And we ended up with an album and then another album.
And there's also an EP in the middle that I haven't actually listened to.
I thought was not the EP first. The EP's in the middle, is it?
Oh, maybe maybe the EP is first.
In my mind, the EP...
But it has non-album tracks.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Well, I think they're all non-album tracks in the EP, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I thought that was the first thing, because that's
maybe it is
the radar bit. And then, because it didn't really cross my radar particularly.
I think the EP is second. I'm going to look it up.
We're going to do a quick fact check. You might quite possibly be right.
No, the album comes out first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Live fact check, folks. The album does in fact come out first. Then we have the EP.
Yeah, the album comes out March 2021 and the EP is November 2021.
Oh. Okay. So they both come out the same year.
Yeah.
But the album first. So I think we were discussing before the tape started rolling, so to speak, that we're not going to do our usual exhaustive track by track analysis of both these albums. Instead, we're just going to maybe pick out a few highlights, right? Because as much as we are very positive about both these albums, it's kind of, how can you put this? It is what it is. The amount of time it took me to come up with that is embarrassing. How can I put this politely? It's bluesy hard rock, right? It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's bluesy hard rock in a 70s mold. I like that thing a lot. You know, long before I was into Maiden, I loved
There's
Free
not
and Rory
so much you can say about it, especially if you're going in depth into two albums.
Yeah, I feel like I would just be going, yeah, it's good a lot of the time. Good guitar playing, nice riff. And maybe the people don't need that sort of times 19 songs, which is what we've got across these two albums.
That's fair.
So if we take the first Smith Kotzen album then, personal highlights, or how did you feel about this when it came out might be an interesting starting point, because
So when it came out, I remember hearing Taking My Chances and thinking, oh, this sounds really good. And then I listened to the album once and then never really went back to it for a few years.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for thinking it was bad or anything, but for whatever reason, it just didn't grab me at the time. But over that time, and particularly in the last, 6 months or something, I've gone back to that first album quite a few times. And I think it's my preferred of their two albums. And I think it's, again, it is sort of absolutely planet rock fodder music, but done to an incredibly high standard.
Yeah, done to a much higher standard than a lot of those planet rock bands, I'd say.
And I think what really sticks out to me on both the albums, but in particular this one, I guess maybe just because it came first, is you'd think the focus would be on the guitars. But actually the thing I love most about this outfit is the voices and having two lead vocalists with quite different sounding voices. You've got the Chris Cornell-esque super high range of Richie Kotzen balanced out by the slightly rugged but still smooth enough lower tone of Adrian Smith. And firstly, it's really nice hearing Adrian do some lead vocals quite a lot.
We've said this before, but I think his voice is very underutilized in Maiden.
Absolutely.
And I guess that you've got Bruce Dickinson in the band, right? Sure. But Adrian's voice, Adrian's a genuinely, once we've sort of had just given some thoughts on the albums, we're going to talk about the gig we went to, right? Where, you get to really appreciate that in all its glory. Adrian's got a great voice.
He really does, yeah. He has a really solid voice.
And I know just the backing vocals and stuff in Maiden, Bruce occasionally just gives him a chorus of Wasted Years to belt out on his own. But you think, man, if you could make more of this,
Yeah, he is underutilized for sure. But yeah, so I think that first album grew on me quite a bit eventually. And I think for me, in terms of sort of like highlights, it's an album that I think starts quite strong and then kind of just gets a bit repetitive at a certain point.
Yeah.
So I think the opening track, Taking My Chances, is a really great embodiment of what the project can be, in that it's like got some great dual vocals and trade-offs, some really great guitar playing. Has this one bit after the really fantastic chorus where it goes like super jazz fusion-y for about 8 bars.
Yeah.
And then goes into guitar solos. They never do anything like that again. And that's a really missed opportunity. I like that little flash of experimentation in there. And that's more in line with sort of Richie Kotzen's solo stuff. But it's a shame that the rest of it starts to feel like, oh, we couldn't possibly do anything weird.
Yeah, I sort of get that, but I guess from their point of view, they're going, well, they would probably say we're serving the song right, and this is a song-orientated project. It's bluesy, it's soulful. Yeah. It's not about just two blokes who are clearly very proficient musicians showing you how much better they are at guitar than you.
But sometimes I want that.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it feels good to be humiliated by...
Yeah. But I mean, to that end, there's some really fantastic songwriting on it, I think.
Yeah.
For me, highlights are stuff like... Glory Road, a real
Glory
banger,
Road's great.
really good chorus. I really enjoy Running.
Yes.
When Smith kind of comes into like their voices gel really well together. I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing I find a little bit odd about songs like Running is the guitar tone is not my choice of guitar tone. Like it's playing quite heavy riffs, but like really warm, fuzzy guitar rather than anything with any crunch.
Yeah, I don't mind it though.
But it sort of works. But yeah, like they just write a lot of good choruses. Like Some People is another one with a really strong chorus and like quite a nice bitter vibe to it. And then Solar Fire is also very good.
With Nico McBrain on drums.
Oh yeah, with Nico on drums.
Yeah.
And then after that point, it starts to, like the last 3 songs are just sort of nothingy.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, even though I've listened to that album quite a lot, I'm looking at the last 3 now and I'm a bit like... Oh.
You have like 6 or 7 really great songs and then it just kind of falls off a cliff edge for me.
Like, You Don't Know Me's good. But then I'm looking at it, apparently it's over 7 minutes long. I'm like,
yeah, I don't like You Don't Know Me. It really drags. Scars is a good one.
Scars is good. I think the other remarkable thing about this album as well is that Kotzen also plays most of the drums.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
Nico McBrain does drums on Solar Fire. There's a couple of other guest percussionists, but most of the drums, I think, are done by Richie Kotzen. And Smith and Kotzen also handle all the bass between them.
Yeah, and interestingly,
which is
live, Kotzen's wife, Julia, is the bassist.
Yes, and she does actually...
And is very good at bass.
Yeah, very good. And
a great backing vocalist, but we'll come on to that.
Yeah, she was part of those jams at Smith's house as well, right? And on the second album, she does do a lot of the bass in the second album alongside Kotzen.
Sense.
But on the first album, I believe it is Smith and Kotzen doing the bass, Kotzen doing a lot of the drums. You're like, Jesus Christ, man. Like,
Guy has a lot of talent.
Just... stop being so good at everything. I mean, but yeah, I would, the highlights you picked out are absolutely mine. Taking My Chances, really strong opener. Running. Solar Fire is got those lovely Jimi Hendrix sort of funky blues, hard rock chords going on.
The only thing with Solar Fire is that opening riff is just Crossroads by Cream.
Yeah.
Like, just almost note for note.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's just different enough to be legally distinct, but it is.
But then Crossroads by Cream was actually probably some blues riff by some half a
I mean, it's all white people stealing
blues. American blues musician, yeah. Although weirdly when that album came out, a lot of stuff like this, it kind of just needed to catch me in the right mood.
Yeah.
I think I heard it. I was like, oh yeah, that's decent. But ultimately, like you said, I sometimes get a little bit worn down by how much overly nostalgic rock music there is just being constantly made all the time. And but when the second album, as we'll go on to discuss, came out, I think that just hit me at the right time, because I didn't think the second album was any better or worse than the first, but I was just in the right mood for it. And I went back to the first album. I was like, this is actually really good. And it's much better than, well, to be fair, as you'd expect it to be, given the quality of the people involved, right? But it's much better than a lot of that stuff that doesn't, because, even before this, we had things like, remember Black Country Communion?
Yeah,
Was that one with Joe Bonamassa and Glenn Hughes?
Yeah.
And then you had Chicken Foot, which was like Sammy Hagar. There was a lot of stuff like this.
Yeah. And I mean, you touch on the bigger issue that we've kind of talked about a few times before on the pod, but rock and metal's insistence nowadays on looking backwards rather than forwards.
Yeah.
Just kind of, and I get why, but it just kind of means that like it's quite hard for anything to feel all that fresh to you. Like once you know the tropes of the pentatonic scale and blues riffs, you kind of heard most rock music. Yeah. And that's a shame that it doesn't sort of move forward and expand
and
more.
Weirdly, or maybe it's not that weird, but like a lot of the blueprint for stuff like this is I always go back to Rory Gallagher, who I love.
Yeah.
And you listen to some of that early 70s Rory Gallagher stuff, and it weirdly sounds much more contemporary and fresh and exciting than a lot of the stuff that imitates it 40 years later. Which, weirdly, the sort of new stuff now oddly sounds more dated than things that are 40 years old.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I would go back to like stuff like, I guess my frame of reference, unfortunately, is more stuff like Ted Nugent, and like Cat Scratch Fever is a great sort of bluesy rock album, or like Free For All. And those albums still sound pretty urgent and lively to me in a way that sort of backwards facing modern rock can't do, because it's just not part of that era. Now, don't get me wrong, like the entire legacy of Ted Nugent is sullied by him as a human being. Well, but those albums are incredible.
He is Ted Nugent after all.
Yeah, I mean, he's a real piece of work.
Nothing you can do about that.
But Cat Scratch Fever is a great album.
Yeah.
Again, if you mostly ignore the lyrics.
Yeah. And Ted Nugent.
Yeah. Ignore the lyrics, ignore Ted Nugent, but just listen to, what is it? 1,000 Knives is my favorite track on that album. Such a cool song with Derek St. Holmes on the vocals. I think that's his name. Mark St. Holmes? Some stupid.
You got to be careful because one of the fictional members of Spinal Tap has a very similar name, doesn't he?
Yeah, and the other thing with Saint in it is there's also someone who was in Kiss with Saint as well.
God damn it.
I'm just doing a live fact check. If you Google Cat Scratch Fever, you get a lot of medical stuff, it turns out. Derek St. Holmes is the other vocalist on that album. This is a real tangent, but do you know who is on the second Ted Nugent album?
I do. It's my favourite Ted Nugent album. It's Meatloaf.
It's Meatloaf and Derek St. Holmes and Ted Nugent.
Yeah, and that second one is my favourite. There's
Ted Nugent. Too many singers. I love that. But it's kind of great. Yeah, it's a cool album, Free For All. And God, I wish Ted Nugent wasn't such a chode.
Talking of second albums, Sam.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's another classic segue.
Back to Maiden.
But we don't even have to wait all that long, right? Given the fact that Adrian Smith is still a full-time member of Iron Maiden.
Still 4 years.
Yeah, but he's in Iron Maiden, Sam. I mean, this is not his full-time gig, right? There's plenty of bands who this is their sole thing, and you have to, that's kind of a given now. You wait at least 3 or 4 years between records. But we get the second album, Black Light, White Noise, which is really, this is where I get on properly involved in this. And largely down to, I think it was the first single they put out, White Noise.
White Noise is
listening to that and being
a great song.
Oh, hello. This is good.
Like, it has such a cool, sulky groove to it.
Yeah.
Especially that chorus. I think White Noise is a really cool song.
Like,
and then
really
the rest
simple,
of the album is fine. Like there's highlights, right? Like I think Black Light is a good sort of summer driving song. Blindsided is a really great track.
Yeah.
But the album definitely feels lesser than the first album. I mean, I guess what I found was I liked the singles and then I listened to the album and I wasn't that into it, but I liked the singles enough to go back to the first album and then that really clicked.
Okay. See, I think there are some if we go a bit deeper on the second album, my favourite song on the second album is Wraith.
Oh, okay.
It's a sea in my wraith.
Yeah.
I think that's a great song. Like very kind of strange in its own way. Like it's almost kind of gives me a slightly Houses of the Holy Led Zeppelin.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
And the last track, there's some really good stuff on there as well. Beyond the Pale. Like, yeah.
It's certainly not a bad album, to be clear.
Yeah.
I don't groove a bit as much.
Stylistically, the second album pushes the... I mean, look, we're still talking within quite a narrow window here, but I think it pushes the boat out musically a bit more than the first. Which doesn't necessarily mean it's better, I appreciate. But I think it's got a little bit more going on than the first one.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Even if it doesn't gel with me as much, I think it is a more original album.
Yeah. I mean, basically, I think what we're both saying is they're both really worthy.
Yeah.
Really worthy 7 out of 10s.
Yeah. I think they're both solidly 7 out of 10 albums.
But a good 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10 is a good rating.
Yeah. Like, you know, if that didn't seem to be... if that wasn't seemingly now just the sort of default setting that everything is 7 out of 10, like that is actually quite a good appraisal, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so to finish up then, God, how long ago was it? 4 weeks ago. It was the
really 4 weeks ago?
It was about 4 or 5 weeks ago. It must have been, because I think it was
time is slipping through.
No, it was only 4 weeks ago, because it was the final weekend before I went back to work.
Yes.
And we drove down to the O2 Academy in Bristol.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah, not a great venue.
No.
Bit of an annoying venue, to be honest, for many reasons.
And particularly annoying because they closed the upstairs for this gig, which I assume was because it wasn't sold out.
Well, it's not because it sold well, is it? A whole tier of an area. Yeah, because we were thinking, it was... I mean, the good folks at home don't need to know this, but on the same day I'd come back from a family holiday in Cornwall. So I'd already traffic was bad. I spent about 6 hours driving to arrive home.
Proper trooper.
To then pick you up and drive to Bristol. So I would have been well up for just having a nice sort of stand on the balcony. Yeah. But no.
I was just tired and wanted to sit down.
You're not going on the balcony today. Having said that, once they closed off the balcony, presumably reducing the capacity of the venue by about a quarter, it felt busy enough by the time the band came on.
There were enough people there.
But
it wasn't embarrassingly empty.
It wasn't embarrassingly empty downstairs.
But so we arrived and the support band had to pull out at the last minute.
It was again Planet Rock darling Chris Barris.
We mention Planet Rock so often.
I know. If people do,
and if you're not in the UK, you have no idea what it is. So
Planet Rock is the digital UK rock station, right?
Yeah. But we're with quite a focus on, I guess its audience is, the kind of audience who would listen to a podcast like this. So a slightly older rock and metal audience rather than, say, like Kerrang, which would be attempting to get younger audiences.
I was about to say, but Kerrang is
probably still getting the exact same audience.
Kerrang reader is still about 43.
Yeah.
In this day and age.
Well, likes to pretend it's 20.
So, people in their 50s and 60s who like Free and Jethro Tull and Iron Maiden and new bands that sound like any of the...
Yes.
But crucially... don't do anything that
never too done. Heavy.
Yeah, never too heavy. No, you can't have any hint of a distorted vocal.
No screaming.
Although they will do Thrasher and Metallica. You sometimes get like Master of Puppets on Planet Rock. Yeah. But you're not getting.
If Little Angels was a radio station, it would be Planet Rock. And I say that as someone who quite enjoys Little Angels and plans to see them later this year.
I was going to say, I bet you're going to be at the depot, aren't you, Sam?
I haven't bought a ticket, but I intend to.
I wouldn't rush. That seems like a massive venue for that band.
Is,
I've not been to depot yet, but Louisa's been. It's quite a big
too
space.
Big for Little Angels, I mean,
yeah, why are they not playing? Anyway. But yeah, so it was in some ways a slightly weird opening. We did have a nice Japanese meal, didn't we?
Oh, we did. We had a delightful romantic meal.
That was good.
At Izakaya.
As is our way. It's
just keep having date meals before going to gigs.
Always nice sort of Asian food. But then unfortunately, because I was driving, you for reasons only known to yourself weren't drinking alcohol, so we were both just quite sober.
I barely sleep because of my toddler.
Yeah, we should stress Sam does not have a problem.
No.
Well, he has problems, but not that one.
I've just mostly cut down / stopped temporarily drinking because I sleep so little that anything that is going to compound my lack of energy is not worth it.
And he's an incredibly violent drunk.
The court cases are pending. Yeah. I would prefer you didn't comment on them.
Yeah, give that man a drink. Oh, I'll have no theory. So, yeah, we were all at our best behaviour, but of course we were quite punctual and just had about 2 hours to stand
for 2 hours.
Totally sober in a soulless venue.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when Smith
was it worth it?
Yeah, it was.
It was. Yeah.
It was a really look. It's not one of those gigs that is ever gonna. It's not a deathbed gig. I'm not thinking, wow, that changed my life. But there's something about watching two men who are so talented and also so comfortable in each other's company and comfortable in their own abilities.
Yeah.
Just totally unshowy, weirdly unpretentious for something that had quite a lot of guitar solos.
Like no backing screens or anything, just
like
raw band.
Yeah, 4-piece.
Really well.
No backing tracks, as far as I could tell, just
no, I think Adrian even made a point at some.
He did, didn't he?
During his slightly awkward stage banter.
Yeah,
of saying there were no backing tracks.
But even then, that was kind of oddly charming.
Yeah,
seeing
definitely.
Someone like Adrian Smith, but who's not used to being put in that role. And of course, the weird thing is actually Richie Kotzen, who is used to doing that role.
Yeah,
but presumably knows that 80% of that crowd are basically there for Adrian. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that is the quite weird vibe about the gig.
Yeah.
And I mean, the fact we're covering it only compounds the issue further. But like most of that audience were just Maiden fans. Like they were Maiden t-shirts galore. And you kind of feel a bit bad for Kotzen, who's 50% of this outfit and not, like we've kind of discussed Kotzen's career in general, not really getting the recognition he deserves.
But the thing is, and I'm sure Richie Kotzen knows this, it's if Richie Kotzen just wants to put his name on the poster, where's he playing in Bristol? Thekla?
They'll be closing more than just the balcony.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's not getting a gig at that venue, is he? Let's be honest, if it's just his name on the poster, right? So
and look, I mean Kotzen is obviously happy with that, and like from all the interviews I've seen, he's happy to be playing with a legend and someone he sees as a guitar hero.
And there's a really nice sort of, I mean, obviously it's lovely seeing, these days, when you see Adrian, it's like seeing Bruce and Swansea, right? You're used to seeing these guys at such a distance. There's always that wow factor of being, oh my God, it's Adrian Smith, he's just over there. Like,
he's old.
Yeah, I've seen, he is old, which is, a very talented old man.
Yeah. I mean, of course he's old.
But, the kinds of bands I've seen in that venue are, Skindred, Testament, bands who are just so far away from Maiden's league. Seeing someone who's just in that space is like, just really cool. And also they just seem to be having such a good time.
Yeah, they're having a blast.
No pressure, low stakes. It's really nice being in the presence of people who are really talented and really enjoying themselves.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing better than just watching musicians who are good at their trade, right? Like that's, even if you're not particularly into the genre, which in this case I was, but there's something still great about watching masters at work.
Yeah.
Right? That's always satisfying. I think I said to you at the time, and similar to what I said about the albums, one thing I came away from that gig was like, live as vocalists, they're both fantastic. Yeah, both work really well. It was also, I mean, this is alluding to more of a pet peeve of mine, of which I clearly have plenty. But the sound at that gig was great.
Oh,
I could hear everything clearly.
Yeah, and they did that in a venue that is not always,
often sounds bad.
Yeah, I've been in that room quite a few times where it's not sounded great.
But I'm so used to going to gigs and all I can really hear clearly is just the thump of drums.
Yeah.
and some bass, and everything else is slightly like garbled by that. Whereas everything here was crystal, vocals, guitars. I could hear it all and still have like the rhythm section. Perfect level. So it was just a really good sounding gig, which, you know, it helps that the gig itself was good and the musicians were good.
Yeah.
But
again, that's
really
not a guarantee. It's not enough. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, and we are Maiden Voyager, Sam. We've got to comment on an Adrian Smith vocal Wasted Years from Encore, right?
Pretty cool.
Treat.
Pretty cool.
I know London were like, oh, Bruce came on to do his guest vocal.
Yeah, but you always see Bruce sing it.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
Like hearing Adrian sing the whole song is like, oh, this is pretty novel.
Yeah, this is really fun. What a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, super fun gig.
It was a really fun gig.
I really hope, because I have no doubt there's going to be more of that as Maiden increasingly.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to learn there's an album next year, right?
Well, yeah. And whoever's booking that tour, get them to Tramshed. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, that would be good, yeah.
I can have a drink. Like, you know, that is the kind of, like, you know, alcohol is not a necessity in a live
Get them
situation.
to Fuel, so that will be right next.
Yeah. but I feel like there are some things where you think, just a couple of pints and Smith Kotzen, that's a fun evening.
Yeah.
That's a really fun evening.
I think it's the kind of show that whilst I might not necessarily go hugely out of my way to see, it's sort of like we were saying with something like the Winery Dogs. Like if they were on at a festival, you could definitely watch it.
Oh yeah, and the only other thing I remember mentioning to you on the way out of the gig. Obviously, you listen to Richie Kotzen on record, and like we both play guitar to no great standard, but we're fine.
Grade 0.
Yeah, yeah. But you can watch someone like Adrian Smith, and whilst he's clearly far better than both of us, I can see what he's doing. That doesn't mean I can do it, but I can see what he's doing.
You can sort of fathom.
Yeah, I can fathom
like,
how.
Yes, I can't do it. But
in a
I
world where I had much more
the
time
shapes
and
you're
talent,
pulling.
yeah, I would maybe be able to do that one day. You watch Richie Kotzen play, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's so impressive. You're
That's
almost, because I
incredible
can't fathom. You know, even my knowledge of music theory is rudimentary, but I'm like, what scale or technique or what? Yeah. I was like, what, how, what? I just can't comprehend
Also,
any of this. Like, it's amazing. Like,
adding to that lack of comprehension, and I'm not sure if he was doing this at the gig, so I couldn't get quite a clear view, but looking at a lot of his like solo live clips and stuff, he tends to play without a pick quite a lot. Like he tends to do just a lot of it as finger picking. It's like that's quite interesting for sort of jazz fusion, shreddy rock guitar.
I mean, it's one thing for Mark Knopfler to do it, but I mean, he's not shredding. Like,
no, he
can, but
not on a Kotzen level.
No, not he's not doing Kotzen level stuff. Yeah,
what an incredible guitarist.
Yeah, I need to properly. And this is a little tip for the listener. He recently did a full-length interview with Rick Beato, didn't he?
Yes,
which I
meant to watch that before recording this.
Likewise.
But I didn't have an hour
I watched highlights
to do
of it, and I was like, this looks super interesting. I need to watch that. But hey, if you've listened to this and you thought, wow, Richie Kotzen sounds good, go give Rick Beato more money. He's only one of the most successful music-based social media personalities. Yeah, don't give us any Kofi money, because
I did actually shortly before this, around the time of the gig, after we came back from the gig, I listened to Kotzen's most recent solo album, Nomad. I would really recommend it. It's quite, I don't even know fully how to describe it. I guess it's sort of alternative pop rock with a lot of musical flair and just some great vocals, but just a really interesting experimental radio rock album.
Huh, okay. I'll give that a go.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. It's really good.
I mean, that would be a very, I guess as we're sort of coming towards the end of this now, is that your choice for our nameless feature where we tell people what we've been listening to? Are you going to go for the...
No, my choice is going to
wild card.
be Actually, on a pop rock vein, an album I have been listening to quite a lot recently is the album Everything by a band called Eureka Machines, which came out last year.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Eureka Machines is I guess, sort of the main band of all-around fantastic session musician Chris Catalyst, who I know through like the periphery of the Wild Hearts, but he's probably most well known for being a touring member of the Sisters of Mercy and of Ghost for a good few years, before he was fired via email for reasons that I don't think even he knows, which seems pretty rubbish. But I
think that's kind of how Ghost works.
Yeah, I think that's just the
no
Ghost
one
model.
other than Tobias Force is really a member of Ghost, are they? So
yeah, I think as soon as anyone gets a bit of a spotlight, they're out, basically. But that's a whole other thing. But Eureka Machines is his sort of old outfit that I think reactivated a few years ago. I've seen them live a good few times, mainly supporting the Wild Hearts.
Yeah, I've definitely seen them live.
And they're
supporting the Wild Hearts. Yeah.
Fantastic pop rock band. Everything is just a really solid album of catchy, hooky rock. So Chris Catalyst is known as a guitarist by most people, I guess, but he's a fantastic singer as well.
Yeah.
Has, like this really lovely, smooth, mid-range vocal. Just really recommend it. Really enjoyed it.
Great shout. Yeah, because I like Eureka Machines, but I've not listened to that most recent album, so
It's really good.
On that. I'm going to give a shout out to British metalers, the band Urne.
Urne.
Urne. Their third album.
You could say they've earned it.
Well, you could, only no one seems to give them any recognition or credit. So, but they absolutely
Swing and a miss.
They absolutely have earned it, because they've already released 2 very good albums, and their most recent one that came out a couple of months ago called Setting Fire to the Sky.
Good name.
Yeah,
Good name.
it's probably going to say the second one was really good, but I think this might be the best Urne album. It's kind of hard to I mean, basically, do you like thrash? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like Mastodon and
Tick.
progginess? Do you like things that are quite emotionally weighty and feel somewhat dense? And well, listen to Urne, because it's really good. And this album came out around the same time as that most recent and final Megadeth album.
Yeah.
And listening to both of them, it's like one of these albums is going to get a huge amount of hype and will probably shift quite a few physical units, and the other one won't. And it's not the one that should be generating the interest and attention it's getting, right? Because, the new Urne album, I genuinely think it's a really good album. It's but they're one of those bands. It's a bit like, what do I say? Do you like metal? I mean, presumably, yeah.
Do you like good music?
Yeah, just go listen to the Urne album. It's really good. I find it hard to believe, if you're not a metal fan, you're not going to really love this album. But don't know. They seem to struggle to get the breaks they're due, I think.
Yeah.
Like, they also seem like really nice people.
Yeah.
Every time I hear them being interviewed. Saw them opening for Cavell Attack, who are like an amazingly powerful type live band.
Yeah.
Give Urne some love, please.
To be fair, that Megadeth album didn't. It's not like it did critical dam busters. I think
No.
it maybe not a muted response, but it wasn't. I mean, I probably gave it one of the more negative reviews, and I still gave it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah. But
I think it's about right.
it went to number 1 in the Billboard charts.
Yeah, but that's just because there's a lot of Megadeth fans.
Well, yeah,
who
well,
were
exactly. So, but it did. It has done. Look, and I'm not going to begrudge it, right? It's the final Megadeth album, yada yada. Good for Dave, right? But it's a pretty average record overall.
Yeah, it's a terrible artistic note to end on.
Yeah, but
a couple of like middling to quite good songs, it is not a good album.
Yeah, well,
it's fine.
Yeah, that's my take. It's just fine, right?
But like, if that's what
fine.
You're ending your career on, I realize we're going on a tangent here.
Yeah.
If you're ending your career on that album,
weirdly,
maybe
I
you
think
should
I like
have
it more than
ended
you.
it
And my
earlier.
take is it's okay. So
yeah,
it's basically
there's a couple of bangers. My toddler really enjoys the song "Hey God." on that album.
Nice.
So much so that like this is not through me trying to convert it to Megadeth, because I converted
Or
something
converted
else.
to Christ.
Or to Christ. But it's just whenever that opening riff comes on, she just starts dancing.
Ah.
It's really funny. It's great.
I bet Dave Mustaine would love to know that.
I don't want Dave to know that.
No. You mind your own business.
Stay out of my life, Dave.
Yeah, I don't need Dave
Let
Mustaine.
me make a lot of criticisms about yours in the meantime.
God.
You going to pick up the new Megadeth book or Dave Mustaine book?
I mean, I've
My Darkest
I've
Hour?
not picked up any of his other books, so I don't know why I'd start
That's fair.
here.
Because I've picked up both of them. So, well, one of them's just a really fantastic biography of Rust in Peace, the making of
That
Rust
is the
in
one I
Peace,
might read.
with all the other members as well, part of it. Like it's not really a Dave Mustaine book,
Yeah.
although it's credited to Dave Mustaine,
Of course.
even though like the whole book is just interviews with the four of them and like hilariously contradicting each other. Like a lot of the time it's like Dave saying this, and then it'll be like quote from Marty is like, yeah, that never happened, or like I think he's misremembering.
Kind of ironic.
It's
It's
great.
just credited to Dave when he seems very sensitive about credits and
Yeah.
writing credits. Who wrote what?
Yeah.
Talking about that No Life Till Ever demo. But anyway, if you want to know about that, there's the internet, folks.
Yeah.
Go
Go
wild.
listen to a different podcast.
Go listen to the Mega Dave pod. Whatever
Mega
it is.
Dave pod.
Mega Dave pod.
We could start that pod.
I
We're
don't.
going to need something to do after we do all the Maiden albums.
It's not going to be the Mega Dave pod.
Well, we could go through every Megadeth album.
I don't want to do that.
I'd be pretty up for that.
But you know what?
I'd be up for it up until Risk, and then
Yeah, I mean, who wants to talk about, I don't know, 13?
you know what? I don't mind 30.
Well, no, but that's almost the problem. Is there's nothing interesting to say about it one way or the other. And then it's just like, yeah, it's all
Well, the
right.
interesting thing is, like half of it is offcuts from Euthanasia,
Okay.
and that's all. That's
we
the
go.
only interesting thing about
It's just going to be 1 minute episode. Like, cool.
it. Yeah.
Cheers, man. Anyway, shall we tell the good folks what they can do for us? Having had
So
all
we
this
tell them
since-
what they've won.
Ask not what your podcast can do for you, but what you can do for your podcast.
You can like, share, and subscribe to this on whatever podcast listening
Yes, you
platform
can.
you have. You can, I guess you can send us money on Ko-fi.
You can. Or in the post.
Or a
Tax
bank,
man's not seeing
a
that.
bank check in the post is always good. You can meet us on, well, not meet us. You can talk to us on social media, or mostly on Instagram, to be honest,
Yeah.
because all the other platforms have fallen apart.
Sporadically. I feel bad because we get really nice messages. It takes us.
We get lovely
reply.
messages. It's just X is a dumpster fire of
Yeah.
a platform that barely functions. Blue Sky never really took off.
No.
And then Threads, I don't even know if that exists anymore.
No.
So Instagram is the safest place to get us,
Yeah.
at MaidenPod. You can also email us, maidenvoyagerspod@gmail.com. And
I say you can email us. You can email Sam. I forgot what the password is to the email. But Sam,
it's the password you set up.
I know, and I can't remember what it was.
Jesus.
Just Sam,
Jesus.
Sam reliably relays messages to me. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's like my PA.
So I do the recording,
Yeah.
the editing, the production, the correspondence,
Yeah.
the
Most
publishing,
Of the marketing. Yeah.
the marketing.
And
You're
I
fired, Blevin.
I put together some notes on my phone.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's all right, there's only 3 albums left, Sam. It'll be over soon.
And so will our friends.
It'll all be over soon. And on that cheerful note,
Bye.
bye.